winds 3 to 8 knots becoming south 8 to 13 knots. Waves less than 1 foot. For Monday night, southwest winds 5 to 10 knots becoming northeast 3 to 8 knots. Waves less than 1 foot. And for Tuesday, east winds 5 to 10 knots becoming southeast 10 to 15 knots. Waves around 1 foot. On South Mobile Bay. Small craft should exercise caution this evening. For tonight, northwest winds 13 to 18 knots becoming north 8 to 13 knots. Waves 1 to 2 feet. For Monday, north winds 3 to 8 knots becoming southwest 8 to 13 knots. Waves around 1 foot. For Monday night, southwest winds 5 to 10 knots becoming east. Waves around 1 foot. And for Tuesday, east winds 8 to 13 knots increasing to 10 to 15 knots with gusts to around 20 knots. Waves around 1 foot. On the Mississippi Sound. For tonight, northwest winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts to around 20 knots diminishing to 8 to 13 knots. Waves around 2 feet. For Monday, northwest winds 3 to 8 knots becoming southwest 5 to 10 knots. Waves around 1 foot. For Monday night, southwest winds 5 to 10 knots becoming east. Waves around 1 foot. And for Tuesday, east winds 8 to 13 knots increasing to 10 to 15 knots with gusts to around 20 knots. Waves around 2 feet. On the Perdido Bay Area. For tonight, northwest winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts to around 20 knots diminishing to 3 to 8 knots. Waves around 1 foot. For Monday, north winds 3 to 8 knots becoming southwest. Waves less than 1 foot. For Monday night, west winds 3 to 8 knots becoming northeast 5 to 10 knots. Waves less than 1 foot. And for Tuesday, northeast winds 8 to 13 knots becoming southeast 10 to 15 knots. Waves around 1 foot. From Pensacola to Pascagoula, and out 20 nautical miles. Small craft should exercise caution this evening. For tonight, north winds 15 to 20 knots diminishing to 10 to 15 knots. Gusts up to 25 knots. Seas 1 to 3 feet. Dominant wave period 4 seconds. For Monday, north winds 8 to 13 knots becoming west 5 to 10 knots. Seas 1 to 2 feet. Dominant wave period 4 seconds. For Monday night, west winds 5 to 10 knots becoming east 8 to 13 knots.
Alrighty guys, I hope y'all are having a great day so far. I hope you guys are staying safe here. So we're going to go ahead and get right on into the live stream, guys. I hope y'all are having a great day so far. I hope you guys have been staying safe. Like I said, we're currently taking a look here at the radar view. It's currently going on here right now across the nation. We actually are seeing a bit of snow that is actually falling across bits of Iowa. If you hear a plane in the background, don't mind that. It's about to pass here in a second. It seems like it has always happened. I think yesterday's stream it did the same thing. A plane started right at the beginning of the live stream. I don't know what's going on with that. But guys, like I said, if you're just now joining us, welcome. Hope y'all are having a great day so far. Hope you guys are staying safe. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the models and stuff because we do have a lot to discuss here. Because we are dealing with a lot of craziness that is ongoing here across the nation. So we did have this one system that did impact bits of the mid-Atlantic here from earlier this morning. This will track its way here off the coast, or it's currently doing so right now. It's still snowing across bits of the northeast, as you can see right here. Basically across the coastal portion here of Delaware, as well as bits of the eastern portion here of New Jersey. Long Island looking like it's getting some snow here at the moment. Bits of Connecticut, Rhode Island, as well as bits of Massachusetts actually currently seeing some stuff. So this is what's going on now. And we're getting ready to take a look here at what is expected to happen here down the line. Let's go ahead and see here. Northmere Weather Channel says, hi, I heard you about your channel, so I'm going to watch. Well, welcome to the live stream. I hope you're having a great day so far. So we're going to be discussing some things that's going on here, because we do have the possibility we could see some tornadoes coming up here for the later portion here of this week that's coming up. Things are actually could get pretty crazy here. So we're going to have to definitely monitor this very, very closely. But if you guys are just now joining, I hope you all are having a great night so far. I hope you guys are staying safe. So this is what we are dealing with at the moment. let's go see. Northman Weather Channel says Wednesday and Thursday is supposed to get bad. Yeah, they are. We are expecting some pretty crazy conditions. And let me show you exactly what we are talking about. So we're going to go ahead and switch on over here, guys, to the models real quick. We're going to take a look at the models here at the moment. So let me bring this over here really quick for you guys. So we're taking a look here at the GFS model first. We're taking a look at the current trends here in the terms of the GFS, because we actually are having a bit of things we need to look out for here. So we're going to take a look here at the mixed layer cape. This is basically just simply your thunderstorms fuel. This is required for thunderstorms to pop off here. This is a requirement here. So this is a short-lane term. This is basically just your thunderstorm fuel, like I have been saying here. So you notice all these wind barbs, basically the way that they are facing is south. So basically the little pointy end here, that's the way the direction is going. So it's going south. It's going straight down here. So pay attention to these wind barbs as we go through time here. They actually shift this way. They rotate sideways. So you'll notice that these wind barbs actually shoot up north. And the reason they do this is because we're starting to get that northeaster flow between that cold front here. Let's go and see here. Northman Weather Channel says supposed to get some watches issued and some warnings for Wednesday and Thursday. You know, honestly, it's not going to be surprising if that happens, because there has been, many discussions. The fact that the Storm Prediction Center issues this risk far out is actually showing that there is the possibility that we could actually see some severe weather. There is a lot of confidence right up now. The models have been absolutely agreeing on this for a last while. So like I said, notice our wind barbs start to move their way up. So basically what's going on here is that we're getting all this moisture here. So you notice, and the further you go south towards the equator, so the Gulf of Mexico is a lot more warmer here. So all this warm and moisture-filled air that the sun has evaporated is going to be traveling to the north now, into the states. It's going to be advecting its way into the states. So this is going to be fueling the system overall and causing some instability to build in. Because right now the atmosphere is actually pretty much cold because we've been in wintertime. And obviously the winter is more colder than any other time of the year. So as we do track down here in time, we actually get all of this instability really starting to build in. Across bits of Louisiana and through bits of Mississippi, Alabama, as well as bits of Georgia, we are seeing this occurring here. And so basically we are seeing these values here, up in 800s max, which is definitely enough to produce severe weather, and it's definitely enough to cause a tornado to drop on the ground. So notice this. This is basically taking your winds at the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and they're pointing your way here. I could probably get a better pin here for you guys. Make it look a little bit better. But notice these wind barbs are pointing to the northeast. I want you to remember that. This is for the 17th. So, as we do move here, we're actually going to take a look here at the lower portions of the atmosphere. So now we're taking a look here at the lower level wind shear. So this is essentially what is going on here, basically towards, closer to the surface. This is at 925 millibars. So basically, what is happening here is, you notice, I honestly could have picked another better color here, but the winds are actually blowing northerly. So they're going north. And so what we can see here, we'll go ahead and speed down in time so you can see my yellow marker here. So what we are seeing is that at the mid-levels of the atmosphere, the winds are blowing to the northeast, and at the lower levels, they're blowing north. So essentially what is going on here is that as you go up in elevation, as you go up in the atmosphere, the wind direction turns to the northeast. So what this actually causes is rotation. This causes a kickoff in the atmosphere, a big spin in the atmosphere. With any thunderstorm that develops, there's a possibility we could see a tornado out of it because of the wind shear. The profile right now is rotating as you go up in the atmosphere here. So if we get any, we look at the instability, so there's obviously potential for normal thunderstorms to develop in that. And now we have our wind shear here. Like I said, the mid-levels are pointing to the northeast. Lower levels are pointing to the north. That lower level jet is set, is in place, and it's honestly pretty significantly strong. We were talking 40, 50 plus knots, which that is a pretty bulky lower level jet here at around the lower levels of the atmosphere. So that's why we're kind of a bit concerned here. Now, instability is a bit limited. Obviously, it's best to see instability values over around 1,000 or higher. But, honestly, what we have in store here is enough. It is definitely enough to cause severe weather to occur, as well as, essentially, is enough to cause for severe weather to occur, and that's potentially some tornadoes to hit the ground. So that is our major concern here. This is what we need to watch out for over the next little bit here. So like I said, another key factor that tornadoes need, to touch the ground is they need moisture. They need a lot of moisture here in the surface, and we measure this in dew points. So typically for, you know, an event like this, you want to see your dew points here in the 50s and 60s. The 50s and 60s is definitely kind of the ballpark zone where you want to see all of your moisture here. So we're going to switch on over to our dew point temperature map here, and we're going to continue in forward from when this event happens. So basically what we have right now the winds are southeasterly. At the moment they're pushing away from the United States, but we're going to get the transition. It's going to change quite quickly here. So then we're going to get it to start moving its way to the north, as you're about to see here as I move down in time. So as it starts to move its way to the north, we get what we call advection going on. This whole air mass is shooting its way up air into the southeast. And so we're going to get those dew points to rise. We're going to get those temperatures to rise. It's going to be quite a warm day, as you're going to notice. So then this cold front comes through. You can really start to see it right here. This is your cold front right here. And it's going to move its way through the region here. We're talking dew points in the mid-upper 60s. This is definitely a you know, pretty significant event we could potentially see here, because you know, these dew points are actually here in the mid-60s. This is definitely supportive here. Northman says, what website or from National Weather Service are you listening to? This one is in Mobile, Alabama, I believe. Let me check. I want to make sure. Yeah, Mobile, Alabama. That's the current one we are looking at right now. But like I was saying, our dew points, we have our moisture here. We have our moisture here in the 60-degree dew points, almost near some areas near the 70s, which is spot on, perfect. Good conditions to produce tornadoes. We have our wind shear, lower levels and mid levels, which allows for that spin in the atmosphere, and we have enough instability to kick off some thunderstorms. So overall, all 3 out of 3 ingredients are here, and they are showing the possibility of severe weather, including tornadoes. Now, there is another side of the system, another evil side of the system as well. This thing does have the potential of causing you know, lots of ice and lots of snow as well. There is still a lot that needs to be ironed out right now, because a lot of the models, you know, especially GFS, if you look at earlier today's video, we saw that the GFS was actually showing well over a foot of snow being possible across some of these regions, but that's not what the other models said. The other ones were showing at max 6 to 10. So there's obviously a lot that needs ironed out here at the moment. In terms of ice, we kind of are mostly expecting under a 1/10 of an inch as of right now, but this is still a few days out, and definitely still things can change, and they will likely change over the next little bit here. So this is our current situation. This is the current models we are looking at. Now I want to go ahead and switch on over to Tropical Tidbits. This is a really good website for showing all types of products here. So this is basically giving you an overall idea of what we can see here. So we're going to take a look here at the dynamics here. We're actually going to take a look here at the let's take a look here at the 500 millibar height anomaly. So you can actually see here that this is basically right here. This is basically showing that jet stream is, we have an extreme troughing going on. Basically that trough, we have this big old dip, big old slide going down here. So this is going to drag all of this cold air from up north down into the states here, the eastern states. So it's going to get quite cold. I'll explain more of the dynamics of how these systems work here in a second. But this is what we are, you know, especially seeing here as of now. So now we're going to look here at the precipitation side of things. Basically, we're going to take a look here at the, I guess we should probably take a look here at the, you know, the different, like the reflectivity type, the precipitation type. So this is what we are seeing here. So we get all, you know, everything starts to kick off here. You get all this moisture. You notice really starting to kind of pile in here across bits of the west here, across those upper elevations. We are going to start to get a lot of that moisture starting to build to the region here. Watch this. So you notice things really start to kind of kick off here. Well, this is because we have another area of low pressure that is located up here, across bits of the eastern portion here of Canada. You can see this over here, but eventually, as you're about to see, it'll be over in this direction here. So what's going to happen is that this is actually drawing up a bunch of air, and as it moves its way to the east, it kind of encounters the Gulf of Mexico, which then starts pulling in moisture from the Gulf of Mexico, which just allows this thing to take off. And then that new area of low pressure will develop here, as you can see. New area of low pressure developing here. We get that cold air backing on top of the system, which then allows for the transition from rain into wintry precipitation to occur. So like I said, how these systems work is actually quite simple. Basically, I'm going to try to draw this as simple as I can here. So we have our area of low pressure right here for this exact frame here. So what is going to happen is basically, I want to go ahead and say these things rotate counterclockwise. So basically in this direction. So they rotate just like this. Popcorn says, hello, what's up, Popcorn? Welcome to the live stream. So, like I'm saying, these systems rotate counterclockwise. They rotate this way here. So, what is going to happen with this is that since we have this counterclockwise movement, the further south you go, you imagine, obviously the climate gets warmer because we're closer to the equator and obviously there's more direct sunlight, which allows for more evaporation and stuff like that to occur. So what's going to happen is all of this moisture is going to be pulled up from the Gulf of Mexico. It's just going to be launched up, as we were seeing back on the cloud meteorology model in terms of things. So that is what we were seeing. Now the opposite effect, believe it or not, actually does happen here on the backside. So the higher you go up in elevation, or I should say higher in latitude, the higher you go up in latitude, the more colder it gets. So what's going to happen here is we're actually going to get some of this cold air diving its way down. So you'll notice we have the interaction between your warm and moisture-filled air and your dry and cooler air. So dry and moisture-filled are opposite ends of the spectrums. Warm and cold are opposite ends of the spectrum. So they're definitely going to react here. Let's go and see here. Wait, my outlooks for Alabama says the same. But literally, that's what we are expecting to occur here. So we're going to see all this cold air back behind all this advection. Basically, it's going to be hitting it. Right there at that intersection point, that's where your cold front's at. That's right there where that cold front is at. And then this whole system is tracking its way up here to the northeast. So just imagine this whole thing shifting. That's what it's going to do. So this is what we are currently seeing. This is what is going to happen here. And guys, like I said, if you have any questions at all, this is why I'm actually live here for today, is to give you guys all the information you need to get here. You need all the information you can get, because obviously, importance, safety is obviously the number one importance here. Basically, that is what we are paying attention to. We need to give you guys all the information you need to know. So like I said, if you have any questions regarding this, put them down in the chat. I'll definitely try to get to them. So this is what we are currently seeing here at the moment. So I want to take a look here at the lower level dynamics here in regard to your surface winds, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. So right now, we'll go ahead and basically, actually, I should probably zoom into the southeast for this. Probably give a better view. So, like I said, right now, this is looking at the surface. These are the winds at the surface here. So this is for 1 o'clock p.m. It's not, obviously not 1 o'clock. We'll zoom to 7. So this is about as close as we can get right now. So you notice all these wind barbs are actually pointing south. I should probably get a different color here. So all these wind barbs are pushing south. So all this, air from the states is actually moving into the Gulf. So then, like I said, once we move here down in time, we get some high pressure that builds in, and we get that circular, that clockwise rotation to kind of kick in here. So what happens is that instead of going south, it shifts and turns and goes north. So it does a complete 360, or 180, I should say. It does a 180 here. Next thing you know, all of that warm moisture-filled air from the Gulf of Mexico starts flowing its way onward. And there you go. There's that area of low pressure we were talking about. So this is what's going to happen here. You're going to get all this warm air to rise up into the southeast, building up all of that moisture here. This is going to be fueling this system overall. So we're getting all this advection going on. All this warm air is going to be moving its way through the region here. I just want to see here. Popcorn says, is there a blizzard effect from the storm? Honestly, we are seeing the possibility of some heavy snowfall accumulations. I haven't really checked much on winds quite yet. We should probably get to that here in a little bit, though. We'll take a look at more of that in a second. Like I said, you can see the wind pattern. It does change here at the surface, which results overall a lot more moisture being injected into the storm here. So that is kind of our main concern here at the moment. And then this whole system moves its way out of the region. Then you see these wind barbs. It's really hard to see, but you can see as we have that northeaster flow ahead of the cold front. If you look really, really closely, you can see right here. This is basically right where the winds are backing behind this cold front. So you can see it right here, this little strip of line right there, that's your cold front moving its way through the region. So that is what we are seeing here. So let's go ahead and move on here to the models, because I'm sure you guys are probably wondering just how much we are expecting out of this system. And I'll definitely get over that right now. But guys, if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. That'll be greatly appreciated. We're on the road to 500 subs by the end of February. I believe we can do it, guys, so it'll be greatly appreciated. So we're going to go ahead and switch on over here to the... Actually, we're going to move on to pivotal weather here. But before we do, I actually want to I want to look at the radar real quick. I actually want to check this real quick before we move on to pivotal weather. For the people who are just now joining here. So this is what we are seeing here. Let's go and see. Yeah, no blizzard right now. Yeah, we're not seeing anything going on here right now. Here at the moment. Let me actually get this step real quick for you guys. Let's see here. Okay. So right now we are seeing all the snow that is taking off here. We actually have a bit of snow that is falling across bits of Iowa as well as bits of Minnesota at the moment. So this is currently what we are seeing. You know, obviously nothing too crazy is going on. And then we do have this one system that is moving its way out of the northeast that we actually did see basically from, you know, earlier this morning into yesterday. Honestly, across my area, it didn't do much at all. Here in Northern Virginia, it really didn't do much at all. So let's move on back here, guys. Back to our models, because obviously I'm sure you guys are wondering what we can expect here. So we're going to go over that here right now. So what happens with this system is essentially, you know, we move on through time here. We just got high pressure kind of changes the pattern, the wind direction here. Gets all that moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. New area of low pressure develops, kind of meeting up with all that moisture across the west. This really kicks off. I mean, look at this. This is a mean signal here. I mean, you can really see this cold front, this bowing cold front here. According to your, basically according to your GFS model. So all of that warm air riding to the north-northeast and changing back, going, you know, around that clockwise rotation here is really kicking off. And then that cold air coming in behind it is definitely there. So we are seeing a pretty nasty signature here. And we are seeing a lot of heavy snow falling across bits of the Midwest and through bits of the Central Plains, as well as moving its way into bits of the Ohio Valley. Now, right now, there has been a lot of support over the last while. We're just now kind of starting to average things out. But right now, we are seeing the heaviest potential here, maybe even towards bits of Michigan. This is kind of where we are expecting the heaviest potential as of now. Kind of that area of low pressure, according to your latest GFS model. According to your latest GFS model, we actually are seeing this area of low pressure just right here under southern Michigan. In the 980s millibars. So this is a pretty significantly, this is a pretty strong winter system here. So as you can kind of see here in these kind of purplish colors, it's really hard to see. There's a bunch of mess going on here at the moment. You can see that there is a lot of sleet and freezing rain that's actually going on here as well. Some of that warm air is interfering with basically that colder air, which, you know, at the surface it's still freezing, but in the upper atmospheres it's kind of getting a little bit warmer right where that, you know, melting zone is. So we are seeing a mixture between a lot of heavy snow across these areas here and some ice as well. But, you know, honestly, this is what we are expecting here at the moment. We're expecting mostly just rain to occur across the southeast, into the mid-Atlantic, as well as the northeast, and that cold air will continue to drive its way down in the country. So this is our current view that's going on here right now. So then we do move down here in time. So this is essentially what we are dealing with at the moment. Let's go and see here. Popcorn says there is still flurries in the sky right after it moved away. It's in short hours. It was snowing for a little bit here. Flurries on and off today, but you know, it was nothing crazy. You know, I need a good snowstorm. I mean, personally, I love snow. I need a good snowstorm. I haven't really had one this year, unfortunately. So we're going to take a look here at the accumulations. I'm sure you guys want to know just how much we're expecting here. And the latest GFS is out. We didn't take. I don't think this was the run we took a look at in my video. I think we looked at 12Z. This is 18Z. Yeah, it's 18Z. So this is the latest one that we have out here at the moment. So, so this one system moves its way across the northeast. Nothing too crazy going on here. Then all this snow starts to kind of pile up across bits of the west, basically across those upper elevations here. And then all the heavy snow kicks in. Now this model, don't get me wrong, this model has been trending some heavy snowfall over the last while. This one's actually showing the possibility that we could see maybe over a foot of snow being possible. So right here, kind of across this maroon red shaded color here, this is actually showing well over a foot being possible. But like I said, you really can't just trust one model individually. So that's why we're going to take a look here at the European model here right now. So this is what we are seeing. So we're seeing some heavy snow here all the way from the Central Plains here. Like this light blue shaded area here, we're talking 1 to 3 inches. According to this model. 3 to 5 across the dark blue, you know, kind of across bits of the Central Plains for the most part. Now, we are expecting 6 to 10 inches of snow for bits of the states of Missouri, Iowa, bits of Illinois, as well as bits of Michigan. across the pink shaded area here, you are expecting 6 to 10 inches being a concern. Now, across this, like I said, the red maroon shade color, we are expecting the highest totals. We're expecting potentially up to over, maybe even near over 8 foot of snow being possible, according to this. So there is definitely some support here that we are seeing this. So we'll continue monitoring this, guys, because, you know, this is what the GFS model has to say. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something kind of interesting here. I'm going to go to 2 clicks down here. Right here at the top of the snowfall line. So this is our marker here. So this right here is right where GFS has our track. Oh, I can definitely draw that better. Yeah, I was drawing that a little bit off there. But this right here is currently right where GFS has the main track of the system. Now watch this. Let's go see. Tanya says, hello Andrew, what's up Tanya? Welcome to the live stream. So we're going to switch on over here. Do I have, okay I do. We're going to switch on over here to ECMWF. Okay, so this is right where the previous track was. So you'll notice, look at this. The track is way more south. This is showing pretty much everything right here. Look at this. So this was where the GFS was showing it. A lot of north and a lot of moving its way into bits of Michigan. A lot of heavy snow, well over 1 foot being likely. But look at this. European model is way more south. Look, European model is all the way down here. It's even impacting bits of the northeast according to your European model. All the way right in here. This is your European model. So there's obviously some weird things going on here. So there still is a lot we need to iron out at the moment. Because, you know, European track is way lower. GFS track is way higher. So there is a bit to kind of look at with this because, you know, honestly, things obviously aren't agreeing at the moment. So we'll continue monitoring this. But look at this. So across bits of the regions here, this one's showing significantly less compared to what your GFS model said that we just took a look at. So this one's kind of showing 6 to 10 inches across this area here. The heaviest snow, according to this model, is across northeastern Oklahoma, southeastern Kansas, as well as the central portion here of Missouri. So this is what we are seeing here. So, like I said, kind of across this white shaded area here, you know, honestly, maybe 3 to 5 inches with locally higher amounts as being possible across these regions here. Nothing too crazy is expected, according to this model. Now, in terms of ice, we should probably go back to the GFS model in terms of ice. In terms of freezing rain and stuff, because like I said, we are expecting some things to, we actually are expecting some ice to occur as well. The latest GFS is actually quite nasty. Look at this. The latest GFS is showing some instances of maybe near 1 inch. Why is GFS is being really, really aggressive here, especially in these last few runs? I mean, look at this. We're seeing potentially over an inch of ice here. So we are expecting the heaviest impacts of ice across bits of these states here. I'll go ahead and name them off. For the people who don't know really how to read the maps. Basically across bits of eastern Kansas. This does include bits of central and northern Missouri, eastern Iowa, central and northern portions of Illinois, southern Wisconsin, bits of northern Indiana, as well as southern portions of Michigan. We are seeing the possibility of some ice here. Now this does really kind of just scrape by here. This is really just kind of scrapes by here to the northeast. But remember, the track is still kind of uncertain. We saw the European model showing a much lower track here. GFS showing a much higher track here. Track determines a lot. It determines which areas will likely see more snow. So right now there is still a lot of uncertainties in regard to the snow, the snow side of the system here. You know, honestly, the confidence that this system is going to exist is almost pretty much certain to occur. This system is definitely going to occur. But in terms of where the heaviest is expected here, it's somewhere around in this region here. It's somewhere kind of around in this area here. Because, you know, like I said, the track really changes a lot between these two models. So we just need to iron out this. Now, I want to take a look here at the GDPS model. This is your Canadian model here. Let's go take a look at the freezing rain at first. Yeah, this one shows a bit of a different story. This one actually shows that freezing rain a little bit more south here. Maybe some instances of maybe the highest up to near 3-4 tenths of an inch at max, according to this, of ice. But, you know, there's still a lot of differences here. Now, in regard to snowfall, this one is a little bit different, I'm sure, compared to what we did see. Yeah, look, this one also kind of agrees with This one's actually lower than ECMWF, I believe. Look at this. All these tracks are all over the place. They're like literally as high north as basically bits of these regions here, and as far south as this. There's a lot of disagreement going on, guys. So like I said, if y'all are just now joining us, welcome. I hope y'all are having a great day so far. If you are new to the channel, guys, consider subscribing. That'll be greatly appreciated. Like I said, we are trying to reach that 500 subscriber mark by the end of February. I believe we can do it, guys. You guys are amazing. I really, really appreciate all your support, so thank you all so much. But, you know, honestly, we are in store for some pretty big impacts to occur here down the line. So, moving on back here to our tropical tidbits view here. Let's go ahead and see here. Taniel says, I am getting snow until 6 o'clock a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. Well, have fun, Taniel. I wish I could have some of that snow. I got a little bit of it, but it was just nothing. It was just a small dusting. It's already melted out there. There's no trace of even snow, which sucks, but, you know, it is what it is here. So, okay, so guys, we're going to move on here. Actually, I want to take a look at COD meteorology. We're going to change over to COD because COD has some pretty good graphics with the wind shear, which is a key component for this upcoming event here. Definitely coming up here. So, this is what we're seeing here. Okay, so first off, like I said, we need 3 ingredients here for thunderstorms. We need instability, basically just simply your thunderstorm's fuel. We need shear, just basically, you know, what helps organize these thunderstorms, just winds at different levels of the atmosphere. And then we need our dew points. Rich dew points allows for all that warm air to get up into the colder environment. So we're going to take a look at this again. So what we are seeing here, we're going to go move on to the, basically to the energy here. This is basically your thunderstorm's fuel. So you will notice, like I said, all the wind barbs are pointing to the southeast. Wind barbs look something like this. I know it's kind of hard to see them, you know, but they look something like this. So on the pointy end right here, imagine it like this. Basically, it's pointing like this. So the little pointy end is pointing the direction the wind is going. So what is happening here is we have all of these winds moving their way to the southeast here. So what happens down the line is we get some high pressure that comes in. So high pressure rotates clockwise here. So what happens is we can actually see it right here. All the high pressure, you can see that turn in the wind direction starts to change here. And look what happens when it does. You start to see all this instability starting to slowly creep its way up here into the states. And bam, right there. We're starting to see the values here in the 500s, which is enough to allow for thunderstorms to pop off here. It's not the most, but it's enough. The most we're seeing here is kind of around, you know, almost near 900, which is decent. It's okay. So you'll notice we have all of our instability starting to pile in here. This is for the 17th. This is kind of around the afternoon hours here on the 17th. Is likely when we're going to start to see some of these thunderstorms popping off here. So, like I said, the wind barbs are pointing to the northeast. So we're seeing it, you know, like this. So basically our wind barbs are like pointing their way to the northeast at the moment. So remember that. Northeaster flow here. This is at the mid-levels of the atmosphere. So imagine atmosphere as a whole. So top of weather, bottom of weather. It's in the mid-levels. This is moving its way to the northeast. Remember that. Now we're going to look here at the lower levels. So the atmosphere, lower portion of the atmosphere. So we look here at the wind speeds. At the lower portions of the atmosphere, look at this. The wind barbs are shifting north compared to what we did see in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. So basically, it's moving its way this direction. So we are seeing that there is a bit of change in wind direction as we go from the lower portions. Remember, lower portions of the atmosphere. I'm going to try to make this as clear as you can see it. So basically, upper atmosphere, lower atmosphere. Winds are moving north from the lower levels. As we go up, moving to the northeast. So what we are seeing is that as we go up in elevation, the winds are changing directions to the northeast. So from the north to the northeast. So what this is actually doing is causing a big spin in the atmosphere. So if any thunderstorm develops, you get an updraft that forms, basically all that plume of, you know, you've seen those really puffy clouds that come up to cumulonimbus towers. Big old clouds, big puffy clouds. So they form and they grow vertical. And once they continue to grow vertical, they go through that area of the, you know, area through the atmosphere where the winds are turning, which then allows the possibility of the tornado to hit the ground. Now, not all of them produce the tornadoes, but, you know, honestly, there's definitely some in store for this event. We're definitely seeing the possibility here. So we have our instability. We have our energy here. We have our winds at our different levels, or we have our wind shear. So we can check those two off. Now, there's one more ingredient, like I said. Here, this is a dew point. We need to look at dew points. So basically, we measure this in moisture here at the surface. So essentially, basically you want to look for dew points here, essentially more in the 50s and 60s, kind of the ballpark zone. 70s is also relatively good, but for an event like this, we can take 50s and 60s. So, because honestly, you got to remember, we're still in pretty much the middle of winter here, so there is still a bit that can still change. So, like I said, we're taking a look here at the dew points now. We are seeing all this advection going on here. We'll actually zoom down here in time. So, like I said, we have all that northern flow, the northeastern flow, all of that moisture driving its way up here into the country. And we have all of this cold air backing behind this area of low pressure. So, it's backing against the cold front here. So, we have our dew points here. They are in the 60s. They are in the mid-60s to upper 60s here. So you can check that off. Moisture instability and shear is here. So that's showing the possibility that we can get some severe thunderstorms. Unfortunately, with the possibility of maybe a few tornadoes as well. Now we're going to take a look here at some soundings. And we're going to talk about this. We're going to change over here to a different screen. This is a different view here. Much wider screen because I need this for soundings. So we're going to go back to our instability here. So we're going to take a sounding. Pre-initiation as well as initiation here. So basically kind of where you see this, lines over, it's kind of faded here. This is basically showing that there's the atmosphere pushing down on an updraft. So no thunderstorms will likely spark here. But these areas here you see here, there will likely be thunderstorms popping off. So we're going to grab one right here. Across bits of the central portion here of Arkansas. This is our first sounding. This is where we are taking our first sounding here at the moment. So we'll go ahead and see what we are expecting in regard to this. These things usually take a few seconds to load, so just, stay tuned for a second. But, what we're about to see, this will definitely show that change in direction in the atmosphere. You'll definitely see it here in a second. Okay, so here you go. So this is what we are seeing here. This is basically looking at the atmosphere from a side angle. So basically, we'll go ahead and let me turn this down a little bit. So this is basically looking at the atmosphere from that perspective, on the top of the atmosphere and lower the atmosphere. So right here, this is the middle portion of the atmosphere, this is the lower portion. So right here, between this red line, this is just your normal outside temperature, as you go up in different elevation here. As well as basically this dotted line is basically, between these two areas here, this is where all of your energy is located. And so you can really see that change, like I was saying here. I know you guys are probably really confused. But basically, what you can see here, right at the surface, you see those wind barbs pushing to the north. You can really see that change in, basically that change in wind direction here. So there you go. At the mid levels of the atmosphere, moving to the northeast. Lower levels, moving its way to the north. So there you go. You have that change, basically, as you go up. It changes up in height. As you go up, it turns. So this is allowing the fact that we could see some tornadoes. And we can actually see that here on the hodograph. Basically, if you see a sickle shell, or a sickle shaped hodograph like this, if you see a little hook, like a half circle here, this usually means that the atmosphere is turning. And depending on if you have the energy, this would allow for tornadoes to develop. Now, so we have a little bit of energy here, but this would likely not produce a tornado here, basically just because there's not enough energy in the atmosphere. There's not enough instability. Now, as we move here down the line, this is where we're going to really start to see some of this kind of kick off here. The capes, or basically the negative buoyancy, the basically anti-energy pushing down on the anything that's rising here, will actually kind of block out storms. But this one right here, there's no blocking going on. So this allows for any storm to fire. So basically, this is at the low level of the atmosphere. Thunderstorm cloud will rise here, hit the equilibrium level, and kind of sped up. So it's not going to go any higher than this mark here. So this is how tall your thunderstorm will be. It won't go any higher. This right here will just be clear skies. So this right here is as high as your thunderstorm will go. So what we can see is that we do have a little bit of instability going on here. Especially right in here. We have our instability going on right in this margin here. You can barely see it. Between this dotted blue line and a red line here, this is where all of our energy is located. This is towards the mid-levels of the atmosphere here. And we are seeing a slight varying moisture pattern. They're kind of starting off northeast and moving east here. This could definitely still cause a tornado to form, because we are still seeing a slight change, a slight half circle going on here. So we are seeing the wind directions change as you go up in elevation here. So this is showing the threat that we could see some spin-offs take place if any of those updrafts push up north. basically up in the air. So this is currently what we are seeing here at the moment, guys. So like I said, we do have the threat for tornadoes for the 17th. We'll give you guys live coverage when this does happen. I've already planned on going live, so I'll give you all the latest information. If you guys aren't already, hit that subscribe button. That'll be greatly appreciated. We do daily weather videos as well as give you guys live coverages on events like these. You know, we just want you to get prepared for the system here. My background's really freaking out here. But we just want to give you guys latest information here, as well as pretty much everything you need to know. Because, you know, obviously knowledge is the #1 concern here. So, and knowledge is the best thing you can have in an event like this. But like I said, guys, this is currently what we are seeing here at the moment. So we're going to take another sounding here towards the middle portion of this event here. So we have all of this instability really kicking in here across southeastern Louisiana. So we'll take a pretty nice sounding here at the moment. So let's see, let me go ahead and get rid of this bot real quick, because these dumb bots decide to join the channels and really like to post the spam links. So if you see any weird links like that, don't click on them. You really shouldn't, because they're like stupid. And you really shouldn't trust those. Okay, so okay, this is scary. Okay, so me as a weather person, obviously looking at this gives me the chills. This is a mean looking sounding here. Okay, I'm gonna explain, like I said, once again. So like I said, this is looking from the atmosphere on the side angle, the ground up in the sky. So lower levels of the atmosphere towards the ground, mid levels of the atmosphere in the middle of the atmosphere, and upper levels. So at the surface, we're seeing the winds blow to the north. All that moisture here from the Gulf of Mexico rushing inland here. And then as we go into the mid levels of the atmosphere, it's changing the wind direction to the east. And same thing for the upper levels. So what we're seeing here, like I said, as you go up in the atmosphere, the wind direction changes. So what is happening here is the fact that we're actually seeing some spin kick off because of the change in wind direction. So as you go up, it spins. You know, it basically gets a big kick of, a big spin to kind of start here. So your thunderstorm will kick off here on the surface, right here at LFC, or lift condensation level. This is right where your thunderstorm base is located here. Right here, once it passes the LFC, basically this is whenever your storm really starts to rise here, and once it hits the equilibrium level here with the EL, the thunderstorm can't go past this level, so it tops out. So this is as high as your thunderstorm's going to go, right about here. So we're seeing about towards the mid and lower levels of the atmosphere, basically seeing some, you know, clouds and thunderstorms. Anything above this, you know, honestly, it's clear skies. So what we are seeing here is, since I said, you know, since you go up in the atmosphere and it turns, like I was saying, you can really see that turn, that aggressive turn, that sickle-shaped hodograph really kick off here. This is a classic example here. That hodoshape, or that sickle-shaped hodograph here, we're seeing this thing in a half circle, which is showing a lot of scary stuff. So this is showing that we do have that swath, that basically that big, you know, bit of rotation kicking off here from, you know, bits of the atmosphere, as well as we have our instability here. We look down here, instability is right here at 980 mixed layer Cape. This is definitely enough energy to drop a tornado. So we have our instability, we have our shear, as well as all of this. You know, honestly, I'm going to save this. I'm definitely going to save this image, because this is actually quite crazy here. Let's see here. I don't know what I just did, but I think I messed up my view here. There we go. Yeah, that's a pretty crazy sounding we're looking at here. Definitely insane. So we'll continue monitoring this. This has decay values at around 431. So, you know, honestly, you know, from what I'm seeing here out of the sounding, is that tornadoes are likely going to be the major concern with this event. You know, hail, not really so. Maybe some instances of small hail can be possible. I don't really expect any large, very, very large hail to occur. Like I said, I mostly just expect, tornadoes to be a concern out of this system, because obviously, you know, we're seeing the conditions. The conditions are right, guys. We're definitely seeing those conditions that turn in the atmosphere as you go up in elevation. which, basically that turns of winds, the wind direction change as you go up in elevations here, which allows for that rotation to kick off, as well as our instability, like I said, enough to get those thunderstorms firing off and everything like that. So, seriously, this is absolutely crazy. So, guys, this is what we are taking a look here at the moment. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them down in the chat right now. Definitely try to get to them. So we're going to take another sounding here, across bits of southern portion of Mississippi. Okay, same story. Look at this. That we have our, kind of cyclical shape photograph here. We have our instability going on. Okay. Mixed layer cape here around 900. Definitely enough to get the job done. D cape, downdraft cape is around 442. So maybe some damaging winds of maybe 60 miles per hour kind of seems to be the concern here, according to the sounding alone. So we actually might have a pretty big tornado threat on our hands, guys. That's the thing. We might have a pretty big tornado threat. Mostly just a tornado threat for this event. Mostly just that. And maybe some small hail can be possible. Damaging winds of maybe 60 miles per hour or more is going to be a concern here. But, honestly, the most destructive hazard we have here is the threat of tornadoes. And obviously no one wants to be in tornadoes. So that's what I'm saying, guys. We're just giving you all the latest information regarding the system. We're giving you all the knowledge you need to know. And if you have any questions, any specific area you want me to look at in regard to a forecast, throw it down in the chat below. I'll definitely try to get to it for you guys and tell you what you can expect. Because, like I said, we are expecting some very, very nasty weather to occur out of this system here. Not only in regard to snow and ice, but we're also seeing the threat of severe weather as well, but tornadoes being a concern. Honestly, it wouldn't be surprising if we can get a few large tornadoes out of this as well, because our shear is actually very, very strong here. We're talking 50 knots here, right here at the lower levels. This is all showing 50 plus knots of shear, so this honestly could generate some pretty beefy tornadoes here in terms of the shear alone. Now, our instability is honestly, it's limited, but some instances could get pretty decent. In which, if we get those, mixture between that shear kicking off as well as all of that instability, things could really go down here. So, okay, guys, so that is what we are talking about here right now. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break here for a second, guys. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them down in the chat. If you are new to the channel, guys, consider hitting that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. We basically give you guys the daily weather updates as well as what you can expect in regard to basically to these events. And we are expecting that tornado system to occur here for bits of the 16th and the 17th here. So, like I said, please stay safe, guys, because we are expecting a decent amount of impacts to occur. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a break here for a moment. So, hang tight for a little bit here, and we'll get right back with you guys. So, if you guys do want to support the channel, we do have our link in the description. You guys can check that out. All right, guys, we'll be back here in about 5 or 10 minutes or so. So, hang tight. We'll be right back.
Across the central Gulf Coast, Gulf shores, clear. Temperature was 46 degrees. Wind calm. Pascagoula, clear. Temperature was 38 degrees. Wind calm. The report from Biloxi was not available. Hattiesburg, clear. Temperature was 42 degrees. Wind calm. And in Pensacola, clear. Temperature was 47 degrees. Wind north at 6 miles an hour. Elsewhere, New Orleans, clear and 50. Jackson, Mississippi, clear and 45. Birmingham, clear and 42. Montgomery, clear and 43. And in Panama City, fair and 43. Here's your National Weather Service forecast. Tonight, clear, cold with lows around 30. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Monday, sunny. Highs in the lower 60s. Northwest winds around 5 miles per hour, becoming southwest in the afternoon. Monday night, mostly clear in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. Lows in the upper 30s. Southwest winds around 5 miles per hour, becoming east after midnight. Tuesday, sunny. Highs in the mid-60s. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. This is NOAA Weather Radio from the Mobile, Pensacola National Weather Service. The current time is 8:05 p.m. Central Standard Time. Here's your marine forecast. On the weather map, moderate to strong northerly flow will continue to gradually decrease overnight, becoming light by Monday afternoon. Expecting winds to shift to east-southeasterly Tuesday and Tuesday night and increase to moderate to strong ahead of a storm system which will move through the region Wednesday night and Thursday. On North Mobile Bay, small craft should exercise caution this evening. For tonight, northwest winds 13 to 18 knots diminishing to 3 to 8 knots. Waves around 1 foot. For Monday, northwest winds 3 to 8 knots becoming south 8 to 13 knots. Waves less than 1 foot. For Monday night, southwest winds 5 to 10 knots becoming northeast 3 to 8 knots. Waves less than 1 foot. And for Tuesday, east winds 5 to 10 knots becoming southeast 10 to 15 knots. Waves around 1 foot. On South Mobile Bay, small craft should exercise caution this evening. For tonight, northwest winds 13 to 18 knots becoming north 8 to 13 knots. Waves 1 to 2 feet. For Monday, north winds 3 to 8 knots becoming southwest 8 to 13 knots. Waves around 1 foot. For Monday night, southwest winds 5 to 10 knots becoming east. Waves around 1 foot. And for Tuesday, east winds 8 to 13 knots increasing to 10 to 15 knots with gusts to around 20 knots. Waves around 1 foot. On the Mississippi Sound. For tonight, northwest winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts to around 20 knots diminishing to 8 to 13 knots. Waves around 2 feet. For Monday, northwest winds 3 to 8 knots becoming southwest 5 to 10 knots. Waves around 1 foot. For Monday night, southwest winds 5 to 10 knots becoming east. Waves around 1 foot. And for Tuesday, east winds 8 to 13 knots increasing to 10 to 15 knots with gusts to around 20 knots. Waves around 2 feet. On the Perdido Bay Area. For tonight, northwest winds 10 to 15 knots with gusts to around 20 knots diminishing to 3 to 8 knots. Waves around 1 foot. For Monday, north winds 3 to 8 knots becoming southwest. Waves less than 1 foot. For Monday night, west winds 3 to 8 knots becoming northeast 5 to 10 knots. Waves less than 1 foot. And for Tuesday, northeast winds 8 to 13 knots becoming southeast 10 to 15 knots. Waves around 1 foot. From Pensacola to Pascagoula, and out 20 nautical miles. Small craft should exercise caution this evening. For tonight, north winds 15 to 20 knots diminishing to 10 to 15 knots. Gusts up to 25 knots. Seas 1 to 3 feet. Dominant wave period 4 seconds. For Monday, north winds 8 to 13 knots becoming west 5 to 10 knots. Seas 1 to 2 feet. Dominant wave period 4 seconds. For Monday night, west winds 5 to 10 knots becoming east 8 to 13 knots. Seas around 1 foot. Dominant wave period 4 seconds. And for Tuesday, east winds 13 to 18 knots increasing to 15 to 20 knots. Gusts up to 25 knots. Seas 1 to 2 feet building to 2 to 4 feet. Dominant wave period 5 seconds. From Pensacola to Pascagoula, from 20 to 60 nautical miles offshore. Small craft advisory in effect until 3 a.m. Central Standard Time Monday. For tonight, north winds 18 to 23 knots diminishing to 13 to 18 knots. Seas 3 to 5 feet. Dominant wave period 5 seconds. For Monday, north winds 10 to 15 knots becoming northwest 3 to 8 knots. Seas 1 to 3 feet. Dominant wave period 5 seconds. For Monday night, north winds 5 to 10 knots becoming east 10 to 15 knots. Seas around 1 foot. Dominant wave period 4 seconds. And for Tuesday, east winds 15 to 20 knots increasing to 18 to 23 knots. Gusts up to 25 knots. Seas 1 to 3 feet building to 3 to 4 feet. Dominant wave period 5 seconds. Tidal information at the mouth of the Mobile River on Monday. Low tide at 9:16 a.m. High tide at 10:31 p.m. At the mouth of the Mobile River on Tuesday. Low tide at 9:39 a.m. High tide at 11:20 p.m. At Pensacola Bay on Monday. Low tide at 7:52 a.m. High tide at 9:27 p.m. At Pensacola Bay on Tuesday. Low tide at 8:20 a.m. High tide at 10:07 p.m. At the East Pass in Destin on Monday. Low tide at 7:18 a.m. High tide at 8:54 p.m. At the East Pass in Destin on Tuesday. Low tide at 7:46 a.m. High tide at 9:34 p.m. The following marine observations were made as of 7 p.m. Mobile Bay Coast Guard Station. Winds were northwest at 4 knots. Sea temperature 54 degrees. Air temperature 49 degrees. Middle Bay Lighthouse. Winds were northwest at 14 knots. Weeks Bay. Air temperature 49 degrees. Pensacola Bay. North winds at 3 knots. Air temperature was 50 degrees. The report from the east end of Dauphin Island was not available. And Petty Boy Island, northwest